Welcome. This is the lecture covering the aspects and neurochemistry of oxytocin and its pleiotropic effects upon the body and, in particular, substance use and recovery. Translation: How a drug in your brain can be produced and used to help you kick cravings for anything. Good afternoon, everyone. Today we're going to talk about one of the most fascinating molecules in human biology, oxytocin, and how it plays a vital role in healing, recovery, and emotional growth. This lecture is based on oxytocin and recovery therapy, a plain language guide to the science and techniques that help people change, heal, and grow. My goal is to make the science clear and relatable so we can see how this small hormone connects the body, the brain, and our relationships in profound ways. Let's start with the basics. Oxytocin is often called the bonding hormone or the love molecule, but those nicknames only scratch the surface. It's produced mainly in the hypothalamus and released by the pituitary gland. When it enters the bloodstream or acts within the brain, it influences trust, empathy, social connection, and stress regulation. In simple terms, oxytocin helps us feel safe with others. It's the biological foundation of attachment, the invisible thread that ties human beings together. Now, why does this matter for recovery? Whether we're talking about addiction, trauma, or emotional distress, recovery is not just about stopping harmful behaviors. It's about rebuilding connection with ourselves, with others, and with life. Oxytocin is central to that process. When we experience genuine care, compassion, or physical touch, oxytocin levels rise. This calms the stress response, lowers cortisol, and helps the nervous system shift from survival mode to healing mode. In therapy, this means that trust and empathy aren't just nice ideas, they're measurable biological events. The book explains that oxytocin works through social bonding. From infancy onward, our brains learn safety through connection. A baby's sense of security comes from being held and comforted. Those early experiences shape oxytocin pathways that influence emotional regulation for life. When those pathways are disrupted, through neglect, trauma, or isolation, people may struggle to feel safe or connected later on. Recovery therapy helps rebuild those pathways by creating environments of trust and attunement, where oxytocin can do its work again. Oxytocin also plays a major role in stress regulation. When we're under pressure, our bodies release stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. Oxytocin counterbalances those effects. It slows the heart rate, reduces anxiety, and promotes relaxation. This is why supportive relationships are so powerful in recovery. They literally change our chemistry. The author emphasizes that therapy isn't only about talking, it's about creating conditions where the body can relearn calm and safety. Oxytocin is the messenger that tells the body, "You're safe now. You can heal." Another fascinating aspect is oxytocin's influence on learning and memory. When we feel emotionally secure, the brain's learning centers, especially the hippocampus, function better. This means that emotional safety enhances cognitive flexibility and insight. In recovery therapy, this translates to better self-awareness and the ability to form new habits. People learn not just intellectually but emotionally, through experiences that reinforce trust and connection. Oxytocin helps encode those experiences as positive memories, strengthening the motivation to continue healing. The book also explores oxytocin's role in addiction and mental health. Addiction often stems from disconnection, a search for comfort or relief when natural bonding is missing. Substances can temporarily mimic the soothing effects of oxytocin, but they don't create real connection. Recovery therapy aims to restore genuine oxytocin-based bonding, replacing artificial comfort with authentic relationships. Similarly, in depression and anxiety, oxytocin levels are often low. Therapeutic techniques that increase oxytocin, such as mindfulness, compassion training, or supportive touch, can help rebalance emotional chemistry. Across the lifespan, oxytocin shapes our ability to connect. In infancy, it builds attachment. In adolescence, it supports social learning and empathy. In adulthood, it deepens intimacy and cooperation. and in older age, it helps maintain emotional resilience. The author shows that oxytocin is not just a hormone of youth or romance, it's a lifelong companion, guiding how we relate to others and ourselves. Recovery therapy taps into this natural system, using connection as medicine. On the physiological side, oxytocin interacts with multiple systems: hormonal, emotional, and cognitive. It influences the immune system, digestion, and even pain perception. When oxytocin levels rise, inflammation decreases, and the body's healing processes accelerate. This is why emotional support can improve physical recovery after illness or injury. The science is clear: the body heals better when it feels safe and connected. Therapy that fosters empathy and trust activates these same biological pathways. Pregnancy and childbirth are powerful examples of oxytocin in action. It triggers labor, facilitates bonding between mother and child, and supports postnatal neurobiology. But the author extends this idea beyond reproduction. Oxytocin is the chemistry of creation and renewal in all forms. Whether we're giving birth to a child, a new identity, or a new way of living, oxytocin helps us move through change with compassion and courage. In clinical practice, oxytocin-based approaches are emerging in many fields: trauma therapy, addiction recovery, couples counseling, and even group work. Techniques that emphasize empathy, eye contact, gentle touch, and shared emotional experiences can stimulate oxytocin release. The result is deeper trust, faster emotional regulation, and more sustainable healing. The author calls this biological empathy, the idea that caring is not just emotional but physiological. As we near the end of our lecture, let's reflect on the connections that oxytocin reveals. It connects biology to psychology, emotion to cognition, and self to others. It shows that healing is not an isolated process but a relational one. When we understand oxytocin, we see that recovery is not about fixing broken parts. It's about restoring connection, the natural state of coherence between mind, body, and community. In closing, oxytocin reminds us that compassion is not a luxury, it's a biological necessity. Every act of kindness, every moment of trust, every shared breath has the power to change our chemistry and our lives. Recovery therapy harnesses that power, turning science into healing and connection into growth. The message of this book is simple but profound: we heal through each other. Oxytocin is the molecule that makes that possible, the quiet messenger of safety, empathy, and love that helps people change, heal, and grow.